On the AP Language and Culture exam, there are several parts for free response where holistic scoring is applied. And today I'm going to talk about holistic scoring as it applies on the email response, the email reply on the exam. This is the first task after the multiple choice. You are responding to an email. You have the gist and the descriptors, what theme it's about, and in addition to that, you obviously have the email response you have to read very quickly and respond all in 15 minutes. So how do we grade it? How does an EP rater qualify your work? Okay, as a 3 or a 4 or a 5 or even lower? Well, first of all, it's all about task completion. Okay, the what always comes before the how. So if you don't complete the task, you cannot pass. Okay, that is the first thing you have to think about, the what. So the treatment of the topic and then providing the details. So if you treat the topic either effectively, generally effective, something that's generally effective and suitable, then you provide either most or all the required information, then you have a shot at passing, right? But if you don't do both of those in any of those categories, you cannot get a 3, 4, or 5. You're just not passing. And you could be a stellar writer. You could write very, very well. But if you don't complete the task, you cannot pass. That is the standard that they're holding you to. So what does that mean? In the email, you have to address the person formally. Thanking them for their response is always good. Answering all the questions, generally in the order that they listed them in their first email to you. And then when it's authentic, not just randomly, asking a question about whatever they're doing, whether if it's a study that they're doing. If they don't say this, obviously, in the original email, you can ask, when will the results of the study be published, or where? If you are applying to be part of a study abroad program and they don't tell you when the decisions will be made, you could ask when. You could ask how long, or what are the expectations of the students outside of class? Anything that has to do with the task, except asking personal questions, because again, it's a formal register. So the what is the treatment of the task. Did they treat the task effectively? Nothing that didn't have anything to do with the task in there. And did they provide all of the required information with supporting details and relevant examples? If so, if a student does that, then they are a contender for a 5. If they are generally effective or even completely effective, but provides most of the information, then you're looking at a 4, possibly a 3. A 3 is more suitable treatment of task and provides most of the required information. If you don't get any of those, you're not passing. So provides all the required information for a 5 with effective treatment, generally effective or suitable treatment with most of the details is a 3 or a 4. So how do you determine the rest of it? Well, that's the how. But first and foremost is task completion. So if you don't do any of what I just said, you're not getting a 3, 4, or 5, and it's a moot point. If you are doing any of that, suitable, generally effective treatment, most of the required information, supporting details, or all with supporting details and relevant examples, that is passing. Now, how do you determine the difference aside from those descriptors? The how. Register. Are you using a formal register? Not just addressing them in you with the verbs and the subject pronouns, but in how you are starting off the email. Dear plus title plus last name. Sincerely at the end, or cordially. Okay. Do you have control of grammar? Of vocabulary? Do your errors impede comprehension? Are you using some advanced structures? This all leads to the how, which leads to your final grade, right? So if you're a contender for a 5, you can get a 5 if you mastered all of those. Strong or good control of grammar, vocabulary, errors do not impede comprehension, correct register, consistent and appropriate. If you are making mistakes, then that means it's a 3 or a 4, depending on how many mistakes and how they impede comprehension. If you're not completing the task, then it just depends on how much you're not completing the task for a 1 or a 2. But again, in order to pass, you must complete the task. So that is how you do well on the email. Okay. The what goes before the how. Were you effective, generally effective, or suitable in the topic, and provide all, if not most, of the details? Then you move on from the first round of being a 3, 4, or 5. If that's a no to either or both, you're not passing. Then it's the how. Did you use the correct register, formal, titles, last names? Okay. Also, by the way, with register, sometimes when you're asking a question, by the way, providing all the information, you have to answer all the questions and ask one. It has to be a question that's suitable for the topic. So no personal questions, right? It's something to do like if it's about a study, when will the results be published? And you have to ask a question that's not in the email reply where they tell you. Okay. Or if you're an exchange student, when will the decision be made? Okay. Things like that. Again, if you are in the 3, 4, or 5 realm, it's all about the how after the what. Register, control of grammar, vocabulary, errors that impede, and advanced and complex structures. All right. And that is how you can pass or even get a 4 or 5 on the email reply. For more information about protocols and how to get you there, go to the playlist below. There's one for all AP languages, and those videos are in English. And then there's one in Spanish, AP Spanish Language and Culture. That's the one that I teach and I read for. That is below. And all those videos, minus the ones for now on holistic scoring, are in English. And just subscribe to those playlists because there'll be more content coming up throughout the years, to help you do well on the AP Language and Culture exam, whichever one you may take. And by the way, if you are interested in Spanish beyond the classroom, whether you're an AP Spanish student or not, then go to makingspanishsimple.com, the website where you can also get access to these playlists for more information like what's on, what to read, what to watch, and recommendations on even where to travel. So go to makingspanishsimple.com, subscribe today. And if you are just an AP language student, then you go to the playlist below, and good luck. It's a great class and it's extremely rewarding.